All right, looks like we're on. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Samuel Archer, your host. This is the Muzilog Magazine Podcast, and we have a very, very, very special guest in the building. She goes by the name Jessy J, and we want to welcome her to the show. How are you doing today, Jessy?
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Samuel. It's great to be here, and I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right, great to have you here, and thanks for taking my shot in the dark. I actually sent a shot out in the dark. Um, it's been a minute. I used to write for the Examiner, and I ended up learning about you when I did a lot of articles for Concord Jazz, and learned about you with the Hot Sauce album. But we're not
Right.
even talk about the Hot Sauce album yet. We're here to talk about TERRANOVA. This is your latest CD, and we want to learn about that CD. We want to learn about that project. So, what is the idea behind the title of the album?
Terra Nova represents new land. It's my 10th studio project. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to recreate something that brought my career full circle. So I thought working with Paul Brown on this project would make it special and also reminiscent of Tequila Moon, my very first album. So throughout
Mm-hmm.
the journey of the 10 albums, I've had a different theme for every album. Tequila Moon was very Latin based, organic recording process, so on and so forth. And Terra Nova has a very similar structure. It's Latin leaning. Many of the songs were recorded live in the studio with the live band. And it has just a nice, beautiful vibe to it. And it was a joy to record.
Yes, so it seemed like you did some experimenting too, because apparently you did some recording on the East Coast, and then you did something on the West Coast. Maybe you had two different ensembles. What was that like? How did that look? I'm trying to imagine.
Well, being a touring musician, as you know, I have met musicians all over the world. So it was great to work with musicians from the East Coast and the West Coast. When we recorded live in the studio, we worked with the West Coast musicians like Brian Bromberg on the bass. Paul Brown
Hmm.
played some guitar. Sean Theriot also played guitar. On the drums, we had amazing Gordon Campbell, percussion, Richie Gajate Garcia, and on the piano,
Mm.
David Garfield, as well as the B3 organ and the Rhodes and everything else. So that was a West Coast band. The East Coast band was more of a file sharing experience. So
Mm.
songs, parts were recorded on the East Coast, emailed over, and then I would record my part together with Paul Brown at his studio. So it was a little bit of both. Yeah, I love the live recording because it brings out that spontaneity in
Mm.
arranging and also in creativity when you're performing with five people in the same space. You just
Yeah.
build off each other's ideas versus the songs
Mm.
that are East Coast. We were kind of set in a specific arrangement, a specific spot. I mean, there's still a lot of digital editing that you can do, but it's not the
Mhm.
same as being in the same room as someone. So I'm always leaning towards more of the live recording. But the East
Mhm.
Coast musicians were amazing as well, and the title track Terra Nova was one of the East Coast projects.
Okay, how did you meet Paul Brown?
Our story goes way back. So I want to say 2004, 2005 at the Newport Beach Jazz Festival. I was working on my solo project and I really wanted him to produce it. So I found out where he would be performing and I went to his performance, met him afterwards, gave him my demo CD, a business card, and he basically said, I'm very busy right now working with Warner Brothers exclusively. I don't have time to work with unsigned artists.
Oh
So
my God, he was that
yeah,
rough?
yeah, it was the usual. I was so used to hearing that from everyone that I had
Mm.
asked. So I didn't let it bother me. I just continued to pursue, working with him. And eventually, an opening came up in his band for a Valentine's Day show. And I think it
Mhm.
was 2006. So he called me to play in his band. And after that
Ah,
performance, he said, I love your playing. I really want to produce your album. So we got to work.
wow, wow. Now, he's not in the interview to speak for himself, but has he mentioned that he's happy he chose to work with you?
Oh, yeah, of course. I think we both bring out something special in each other. And he loves doing live recording sessions just as much as I do. He's a world-class engineer. Sonically, I mean, he has one of the best ears
Mhm.
in the planet.
Mhm.
So working with him as an engineer and producer is always a special treat for me. And then I think I bring out a more playful, funny side of him. We wrote a song together called Fresh on my album
Mm.
Terranova, and it's
Okay.
reminiscent of PB&J from my very first album Tequila Moon. It starts off with the
Okay.
same, yeah, has the same bell sounds as acoustic guitar, very mellow saxophone. It builds and then it comes back down to just acoustic guitar.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to check that. Now, when I learned about you during your Concord years, I did check out the Tequila Moon. So I like that first record off of the key. Actually, it's the title song, right? It starts the
Yes.
title song.
Hmm.
All right. So it's definitely been in my playlist for a little bit over the
Thank you.
years. So shout out to Mr. Paul Brown for being with you on this journey. Who is your Mount Rushmore of influences on the sax?
I love Joe Henderson. He's probably my
Okay.
favorite tenor saxophonist. On the
Mhm.
alto saxophone, I like Kenny Garrett. So those are my two
Mm.
favorite saxophonists. But previously, it would be Cannonball Adderley, John Coltrane, Sonny
Mm.
Stitt, Gene Emmons. I'm really into old school jazz as well. The bebop era was some of my favorite songs and compositions.
What was the thing that brought you into the jazz world? What was the thing that said, you know what, I want to do jazz?
It was interesting. I started off as a classical pianist, and in the third grade, I wanted to join the band. So there was obviously no piano in the band, so I picked the saxophone. Reluctantly,
Wow.
I wanted the flute, but too many people were playing the flute. So after joining the band on alto saxophone, I asked my music teacher, "How can I listen to saxophone music?" And he said, "Check out Charlie Parker." And that was my introduction to jazz. I started listening to saxophone music almost exclusively because I wanted to be a great saxophonist. And I fell in love with it.
Mm.
Improvisation, composing your own music, jamming with the band, all of it. I just loved it.
Okay, okay. So that question came about because I was listening to the album and a piece came on that was very familiar. I'm like, when the piece came on, I was wondering now, is it a spin-off of the record that I knew? Or, and then, so you started playing, and I'm like, but this is Mr. Magic.
Yes, yes. Grover Washington is also up there, one of my favorite saxophonists.
So, what was it like even picking a song like that? Because I like the intro, the way how you guys did the introduction. It actually threw me off. I'm like, it sounds familiar, but it sounds like it's supposed to be something else. But then, so who was the culprit messing me up there?
Well, as when I called Paul Brown to start working on my project, he was throwing around some ideas and he said, "What about Mr. Magic?" And I thought, wow, I love that song. I play it live in my band often. It's usually a song we just throw into the set and perform as an encore or something like that. And we even
Mm.
have lyrics for it. When I work with a vocalist, he sings the lyrics. And so we thought, yeah, let's do it. Let's do this song. And he had a great version of it. I listened to it. I loved it. And I said, I want
Mhm.
to record this. It was an easy
Okay.
decision for me.
It's a nice arrangement. It's a nice arrangement because I like the intro. The intro definitely, it doesn't give it away. You just feel, okay, it just gives you like a familiarity with it. And then you jump in and like, oh my God, so it has a wow effect for me. I guess the
Exactly. Me
listeners.
too. When I first heard it, I was blown away. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Okay, okay, so that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. So you've done a few collaborations. You've done some with Anita Baker. You've done some with, well, not some, sorry, one with Anita Baker, Robin Thicke, among many others. What do you look for when you're going to do a collaboration? What's that thing that you look for?
I just look for someone that's open and, we're on the same wavelength when it comes to music coming from the heart. So all
Mm.
of those situations were pretty easy to say yes to because they're amazing musicians, incredible artists. And I also
Okay.
wanted to circle back to answer your question. The song was arranged by Buddy Jordan, Mr. Magic from my TERRANOVA album.
Okay. So shout out to him
Yeah.
for being the culprit to have me scratching my head for a second. Yes. Okay. So I'm listening to the album, and I heard someone singing. Let me see if I can find the title of that record. And I was like, "Who is this person singing?" And I realized that it was you singing.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was
So
me.
so, so let's talk about that piece, and maybe we should find out. You said you also started in classical piano. Still in piano? Is it part of how you create?
Exactly. I write most of my music at the piano. Also do a lot
Mm,
of practicing of the piano. I feel like it gives
mm,
you a visual of the chord structure, the melodic structure, and you can understand more of what the bass is playing, what the guitar voicing is like
mm,
versus the string section. So a lot of my compositions are at the piano. And the song you're
okay.
referencing is called
Hmm.
No More Blues by Carlos Antonio Jobim.
Yes.
Yep. So I
So,
picked that song because it reminds me of my own life. The lyrics talk about settling down,
mm,
having no more blues, find a man, build a home, never roam, etc. So, yeah, about 10 years ago, I got
okay,
married. And my touring
okay.
life has kind of, it's not as busy as it used to be. I'm home more now. I also have two young
Hmm.
boys, so I'm a mom as
Amen,
well.
amen,
Thank
amen.
you. So my life has changed over the last 10 years, and it's been amazing. It's so much better now. I feel really fulfilled. I have my musical career, my family, my children, everything.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Okay. So let's jump back to hot sauce a little bit. On hot sauce, you worked with an idol of mine, Mr. Joe Sample. Any fond memories of working with Mr. Joe Sample that you can share?
Yes, I loved working with Joe Sample. What an incredible spirit and just a force of
Mm,
nature. I just
mhm,
remember physically how he played the keyboard, so much energy and pressure
mm,
pushing the keys. And a lot
mhm,
of his music is very rhythmic, which I
mhm,
love because my music is also rhythmic. But I think he had a lot of passion in his playing and then his improvisation, the fluidity and his voicings, everything. He's just like a genius. And I was
mhm.
so blessed to work with him on Hot Sauce. We wrote two songs together, Rainbow Gold and the song Last Night.
Okay. And unfortunately, he didn't stay too long with us after that. Was your
Yeah.
album probably one of the last ones that he had worked on?
I think it was, yes, one of the last ones. He was
Mhm.
also working on an opera. So
Oh,
I
oh.
don't know if it was ever published, but he used to speak of that often. He was working on a Creole opera that I really,
Okay.
really wanted to see. I don't know what happened to it, but
Uh, we'll see. Maybe he has kids or a relative that may share it with us one day. We'll see. We'll see how that
mhm.
is. So what is? I mean, you spoke about not touring that much. Are you doing any type of tours at this time? Anything?
Yes, I do. I still do selected tour dates, so between 20 and 30 tour dates a year. So it keeps me pretty
Okay.
busy. I'm just not out like 150 days a year, like I used to be when I was on tour with Michael Bolton, guitars and saxes, doing my own
Mhm.
shows. I was primarily a touring artist. And then
Okay.
yeah, scaled back a bit, but I'm enjoying it just as much and still hitting all the cities. So it's working
Mhm.
out great.
Okay. So the other question I'm going to ask you would help more indie artists. Um, you seem to have worked on an independent level in some cases, and you seem to have worked where you were with a label like Concord, right? Um, what could you share in terms of the advantages of being independent and maybe the advantages of being with a label that has resources?
Yes, I would say as a new artist, I always recommend people to sign a record deal if you can, if you have the
Mhm,
opportunity, because they have the connections, the resources, and the knowledge of how to
mhm,
everything works. It's a big machine. There's publicity, there's everything you can think of, marketing. Then on top of
mhm.
that, you have artist management, agent, bookings, social media. There's a lot of different pieces to being an artist. It's not just about, oh, I'm good at my instrument. It has a lot
Mhm.
more to do with that. So when you're first getting started, it's important to have a great team surrounding you, people that you trust and that people that believe in you. And then from there, learn as much as you can, figure out how they're
Mhm.
doing what they're doing. And if you feel confident to take on those roles yourself, then just go for it.
I think you summed it up nicely right there.
Thanks.
But from a personal preference, do you prefer being independent or do you prefer being signed to a label?
At this point in my career, I really am enjoying being an independent artist
Mhm.
because I record from home and I do different projects. So, for example, I did a children's project. So, I did a children's music album last
Mhm.
year. It was not jazz, it was all orchestral music. And it brought out a
Okay.
different side of my creativity. That's the other thing,
Mhm.
working with artists in a record label. They also have an A&R person that's directing your artistic endeavors, which can be great, as well. So I think both are really good. It just depends on what kind of, artist you want to be. If you want to have more freedom over your career, or if you're okay just doing, what you're asked to do, then either one is great.
Okay. Okay. Now, is there a dream collab that hasn't happened yet that you would love to happen?
I've
Who would
always
that
wanted
artist be?
I've always wanted to work with Carlos Santana just because he's an icon and just
Uh,
amazing
I could
musician.
see that. I could see that happening. So Carlos, if you see this, no, no, is he someone that you probably met him somewhere? You guys know each other already?
I have never met him.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we gotta. I might have to hashtag him. Maybe let him see this, and maybe you guys can make it happen.
Okay.
All right. So when my guests come on, I like to personalize them. Are you game?
Sure.
All right. So, what is your favorite color?
Purple.
And I had purple on the ticker before I started the interview.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. So why don't we work? Let's work the purple in here. That's the color right there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work with the purple. Why you like purple?
I just have always loved it. It's such a rich color and deep.
Okay, okay. So when Jesse is in the kitchen, what does Jesse love to prepare on a special day?
I think everyone in our house really likes salmon. So if we're having
Mm,
a nice dinner, we'll have salmon, mashed potatoes, broccoli, or Brussels sprouts, some garlic bread, wine,
okay.
cheese.
I like that. You said wine. I like that. All right. Um, who are maybe two or three people that you're listening in your MP3 player, let's say for the last 2 weeks or so?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I listen to all different styles of music, as I mentioned earlier. So
Mhm,
I go back and listen to old school jazz. So I've been listening to Coleman Hawkins, Body and Soul, just
mhm.
bring it
Okay.
back to square one, the sound of the saxophone. It's so incredible. And then more recently, I really like Samara Joy, vocalist from New York.
Mm,
Yeah, and
okay.
her
Okay.
big band jazz album, Portraits, it's amazing.
Okay. Okay. Well, what do you want music lovers to get when they listen to your record?
I really want them to feel good and to feel like the music is transporting them to another place, because I feel that entertainment has so much value because people are
Mm-hmm.
suffering, some people are sad, going through things, and
Mm-hmm.
music is an art
True.
that can take you somewhere. So you can imagine being in a better place or thinking of memories of when you first heard the song. I know I listen to music to relax, so maybe as well, relaxing after a long day. Just, generally feeling better than you were before.
Okay. Okay. And any new thing that's probably going to be happening in the near future with you that we can look forward to?
Well, yeah, I'm really excited for next year. So I have a lot of tour dates on my calendar for
Okay.
2026. Yeah,
Okay.
starting at the Tin Pan in Richmond, Virginia. Then I'll be at the Blues Alley in Washington, D.C., the Iridium Jazz Club in New York, Scullers in Boston, Boca Raton, Florida, the Funky Biscuit, the Pizza Express in the United Kingdom, um, the Middle Sea Jazz Club in North Carolina, Seabreeze Jazz
Okay.
Festival. Yeah, a lot of wonderful events are coming up next year. So if you haven't already checked out,
Any dates in Orlando, Florida?
um, hmm, Boca Raton would be the closest to Orlando.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, well, you know, is there anything I didn't ask that you probably wanted to talk about or that you wanted to share?
Yes, I always encourage people to check out and follow on my socials. So at Jessy J Sax on Instagram and Facebook and X. And then on YouTube, you can find mine at Jessy J Sax Official. So yeah, follow
Mhm.
along on the fun. And if you want to get on my email list, you can sign up on my website at jessyj.com.
All right. So now that we want to thank you for taking the time to do this, consider yourself family. If you have anything new, let us know. Um, Jessy J, this was amazing. Thank you for
Thank you.
your time. And let's do this again.
Agreed. Yes. Thank you so much for your time and your thoughtful questions. And I would love to meet, yes, your colleagues. So thank you for thinking of me and all you do for education as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.